Hey there, everybody. Vickie here, and it is Live Training Thursday with the Words Lady. Today we are talking about creating content from everyday stories. So, as you're hopping on or watching the replay, say hello, let me know you're here, tell me where you're from, and if you're like inbound because of all the snow like we are here in Michigan. If you have been a friend of mine or in my community for a while, you have seen a big journey that I have taken that started with actually sharing stories and how to share those stories, how to create those stories, how to make engaging stories and use them in your marketing. So I thought today would be a great day to flash back to then and talk about how to write those stories, how to create your content from everyday things that happen. So again, as you're hopping on, say hello, let me know you're here, because it's lonely when you only see the eyeball and you don't see anybody saying hello. And also, as we go, if you have any questions as well. Hi, Althea from Trinidad. Oh my gosh, I did not know that. Wow, what time is it in Trinidad right now? So let me go back a little bit and share a little bit about my story. So when I entered the coaching world, I was a wellness coach. And what happened with that was, because I had such a journey with Lyme disease and chronic Lyme disease, what I still have and what I still battle with, just not quite as dramatically as before, I shared that story a lot, whether it was on stage, whether it was in my book, and people started to come to me and say, how did you do that? How did you share your story? How were you able to gain your followers by sharing your story? And at that time, I had no idea how that was happening. I am, I guess, in some ways just a storyteller. I love to talk. I will say, like, in a group, in a party, I don't really say too much. I wait till somebody says something to me. I've gotten a lot better about that. But in general, I would wait. However, if you got me one-on-one, like, cannot shut Vickie up, you know, and on stage, I could go on forever. And video could go on forever. But, okay, 4 p.m. in Trinidad. Oh, not too bad. Like, it's 3 p.m. here. So as I was sharing my story and telling people what was going on, my friends were going, how are you getting these followers? How are you, how are you engaging people? And what was interesting was, here I was, all I was doing was sharing everyday things. And I'm going to tell you something. People do not want you to show up perfect, okay? And that might just blow your mind right there. You can leave your $100 on the table as you leave. Now, that right there is something that is worth a lot. People care these days more about seeing people who are human, seeing their humanity, seeing them as being real. Like today, I decided, you know what? Didn't feel like makeup. So this is it. On Saturday, I did a video in my PJs. Like, seriously, it wasn't in somebody else's group, but I declared it PJ Day. My hair was a mess. I was, whatever. It is time for us to share our reality, our humanity, how we are truly as people, because that is where you really get the connection with somebody else. They go, oh, she's just like me, or hey, I'm just like her, or look at that, she's just a normal person. So yes, you will see my photo shoots in places that are really cool, like Mallorca and Maui and things like that. And yes, I love to get dressed up, and I'm up for a great party where I can dress up and look girly and stuff. But on other days, I'm in my sweats, I'm hanging out at home, I do stuff with my kids, I'm a normal mom, I take them to piano lessons, I take them to sporting events, I, forget to pick them up sometimes. We just have all these normal things, right? Althea says, yes, because people are imperfect too, so they can identify with imperfection. Exactly. Nobody wants to see perfect, because nobody can really attain perfect. And when you show up to perfect, then people are like, gosh, I'm never going to be able to do that. I'm never going to be able to do that either. And oh my gosh, well, of course she can do that, because she's got this perfect life going on. And, We have messes, we have ugliness, we have fall on our face times. And I'm not telling you to share all these things, especially when you're in the midst of it, but you can find content from everyday stories. I mentioned in the little preview to this that if you're in my email list, or if you've seen my posts lately, there was one about toilet paper. And I have been complaining about the toilet paper roll for years. Like when my friends see posts about toilet paper and the toilet paper roll not being put on or being going under instead of over, they actually tag me because I don't know, I guess it's a thing with me about the toilet paper. So my post that I had was very brief, but it was an everyday occurrence, especially for a mom, right? How many of us moms are like, oh, Karate Kid, right? I had posted that one day. My son with his jacket always on the floor. Karate Kid lives at my house and he loves to leave his jacket in the doorway, right? You can create content in everyday stories, right? So anyways, I had mentioned that and this toilet paper thing, like seriously, if the roll is done or if there's like 2 pieces left, like seriously, can you not just take the toilet roll out and stick it on the roll? Like, it's not that, it's like a little springy thing, it's a springy thing, and a 3-year-old can do it. And the toilet paper is right there in the cabinet. It's not like I'm asking them to go to the basement, the garage, the washroom, or some place that I'm storing it in some obscure place. It is right there under the cabinet, and nobody in my family seems to know how to put the toilet roll on the actual roll. So I wrote about that and how it's like, oh my gosh, here's the roll that they took from underneath the counter and put on top of the counter next to the roll that is basically gone. Like, we are this shy, this close to being done with the task. And I related that to how often in life, how often in business do we go, da, 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 right? And here's the finish line, and we stop right here. And we're like, I give up. I don't really feel like doing this anymore. See how you can relate that to business, how you can relate that to other things. So every day throughout your life, I bet you there's something every single day. So when people go, I don't know what to post, I'm not sure what content to put in there, I don't have any stories. We don't need earth-shattering stories every day. Now, like, that's nice. When you watch Goalcast or, things like that have inspirational stories that they're sharing, and they go through the pit and they get dragged along and then they come out victorious. Those are great stories. But, of course, those aren't happening to us every darn stinking day. And we don't need to pretend like they are. But we have little things that we learn about all the time. Hey, Crystal, is that you? I think that's Crystal with her thumbs up. And there's like anything and everything in your life that goes on that you can share, right? So this past week, I have been to a couple meetups, and a lot of times, hey, Crystal, I knew that was you. I know my people. I know their profile pictures. So this past week, I've been to a couple meetups and had a one-on-one conversation with somebody as well. And it's really easy to go and you could pluck things out of those things. At the meetup that I went to, we decided to be really informal. Usually there's a topic for that meetup, but we decided we were going to, actually the guy who was in charge decided that what we would do was go around and share our wins and then an intention that we had. So I could easily share that story about going around sharing intentions. I could even highlight maybe what I shared or what somebody else shared without using their name or asking them. You could ask them, and then flow that story right into, so why don't you share with me what your wins are, what your intentions are going forward this week or this month or whatever. You see how it's like, it's just a small piece of what happened that day that I can turn into a story, put it in an email, put it in a post, put it in a video right here, and start a discussion about something. So I actually could have started this whole entire thing. This could have been a different topic, could be about sharing wins and setting intentions. And I could start out with the story and how we went around, and I could share some of those things. and share mine, and then ask for you guys to get involved and share as well. You see how easy that becomes when you think about just little things that you can take from here and there. The other day I was doing a cleanse, and I got these organic cleanse, I don't know what you want to call it, the bottles. They were juice bottles and had certain things in it. Oh, and the first one had a surprise. Now, this is not part of the story, but the first one had a surprise. It was all these fruit juices and stuff, but ooh, they stuck cayenne in there. And I, even though I am obviously Asian, am not spicy in that way. Like, I am spicy, but I am not spicy. So I actually, when I go to the Thai restaurant, ask for things without spice. And in fact, one of the ladies who worked at the Thai restaurant that we had gone to a long time ago, she was like, "You Asian and you know like spice?" I'm like, "No, I don't, but my Caucasian husband will take all the spice that is not in my dish." So anyways, that was a sidetrack. But the other day I was doing this cleanse, and I got a 3-day cleanse. So I had a morning, afternoon, and night bottle, 3 bottles per day, and then for 3 days from Costco. And I was going through this cleanse. Why was I going through this cleanse? Because I felt like I was bogged down in my body, that I had filled it with filler food, that I had filled it with processed stuff, that my intestines needed an overhaul, that I was feeling like achy and stuff. And I know for me with my Lyme disease, the inflammation happens quite rapidly with me when I either get stressed, don't have enough sleep, or I'm eating poorly. And I had been eating poorly, decided to go and do this 3-day cleanse. So you might be thinking, okay, so that's a story. Well, how can I relate that to life and business? I can easily just flow that whole entire thing into, yeah, I was cleansing my mind, my soul, my body, everything. And there are times in our business that we need to do a cleanse as well. What are the things that are bogging us down? What are the things that make us feel heavy and weighted down? What are the things that are stressing us out? Let's evaluate those things that are in our business and create a way to have business that feels fun, that doesn't feel like you're resisting or pushing something. How can you start to insert things into your business to make things flow better, and to take out the things that are poisoning your business, which, to us a lot of times are unbeknownst to us. We just keep going until one day we feel that in the business and go, oh my gosh, why have I been doing this for so long when it has not been doing anything for me? In fact, it's impacting me negatively. Where is it in your business that you need to take out things and cleanse your process? See how I just turned that whole entire story into something that we can now talk about and have a discussion, and people can start thinking about, what, that's right. There are things in my business that I need to reevaluate. I need to see if it's really giving me that oomph that I'm looking for, or is it something that I need to get rid of, right? So let me know if, as I'm talking, you're getting the ideas. I thought with, sharing content from every day, it might be easier for me to just share some things. And I'm going to tell you that this is totally unscripted. These are just coming to me as I'm going along about which stories have been coming up in my life and what's been going on. So now you've had the toilet paper one, the meetup one, we're talking about the cleanse one. So, you tell me, what has been going on in your life? What kinds of stories do you have that you're thinking, yeah, what, I can relate that to? There's a lot of times as well that some of the family relationships that we have, we talk about those things, right? How you feel like people don't understand you, or maybe that they're not being as supportive about your business as you might like them to be. Now, for me, it's been really interesting, and I've been actually thinking about this for, the last 2, 3, 4 weeks or so, about how people always say to me, well, my husband doesn't really believe in what I'm doing. Or, my parents think, when are you going to give this up and go get a real job? My friends are like, what is it exactly that you do? And, they seem to be falling away. Well, that's one thing that I don't necessarily have in my life. My parents were entrepreneurs, which, by the way, in April, if you enjoyed watching me and my dad on live stream doing Tea Time Tuesday, he's not going to be here. It happens not to be coming on a Tuesday, but we're going to be doing another live stream again because it was so much fun. And he had fun as well. What was even more funny was a few weeks later, he's like, you know what? I forgot to tell your people something. And I don't remember what it is right now, but he was very concerned that he had forgotten to tell you all stuff. But what I was saying before I went on that tangent is that in my life, my husband has never seen me do anything but be an entrepreneur or have a side hustle or, you know, try to find myself, if I want to put it that way. My children have known no different. My parents are entrepreneurs. Like none of my friends were surprised with what I did. They accepted this as who I was. And when I think about the people who have the only word that's coming to me is an antagonist. When you have those people who are unsupportive, what do you do with that? How do you get over those things? How can you block out the naysayers and surround yourself with the people who actually believe in you? And for me, I think I surrounded myself with those types of people right at the get-go because I was already that person. I wasn't one person and then kind of changed into another person. I think that's what happens a lot of times when people go from corporate or go from doing something, I'm going to say steady, and become an entrepreneur, and people are like, oh my gosh, what just happened? You're crazy, you're whacked out, you know, all these things. So I guess in essence, everybody realized I was a whack job right from the beginning. So anyway, so there's all these different things in life that you can talk about. In fact, here's another one like that I've been thinking about as well. That on Fridays, I had decided on Fridays, I was really not going to schedule a lot of things for work. That basically Fridays, if I wanted to, was a day that was an off day so I could have a long weekend. Now, if you know me, you know that my brain is always going with business stuff and ideas. And, you know, even though I say I'm taking off the weekend, I'm always thinking something. So anyways, my son, who is a senior, he has college level classes and he has a kind of a weird, funky senior schedule. So he takes high school classes and then some college classes at high school. And on Fridays, he gets home super early. He goes to school. He's home at 10:45. And I'm kind of like, why even bother going to school when you're only going to be there for a couple hours? Like, what's the point? Anyway, so we got to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm going to make Friday's the day that I am going to go to lunch with Nathan. And if you're on my personal page, you would see these Friday lunch dates that I have with Nathan. And sadly, those have fallen away. We turned Friday lunch dates, which forced me to clear my schedule, which is really what I wanted, into Friday ice skating and lunch dates, which I loved because I wanted to get back into skating and the exercise was good for me and something that I really enjoy. And then his friends found out that he was ice skating and they wanted to join in. So now it's become hockey time with his friends, and mom has been like shoved over to the side. And as soon as his friends started coming, I didn't have lunch with him anymore. And, you know, all these things. So I'm just like, oh, I've been rejected, even from, you know, my own flesh and blood. And I could say, you know, from that, when in your life have you felt rejected? When in your life, in your business, have you felt like, oh, I was a failure. Oh, this didn't work out the way I wanted to. When in reality, it was not really a reflection of you. It just happened to be this just happens to be what Nathan wants to do, and that's okay with me. I do miss the time with him, but he's so enjoying now finally getting onto the ice skating rink, getting new hockey skates, getting into hockey, which is something he has always wanted to do. And so I'm happy for him. But needless to say, this story that I have can flow into these questions and these discussions about business. When is it that you started out with something with a full intention that this was how it was going to turn out and this was what was going to happen and this was the way it was going to be? Me, Friday, lunch, Nathan, that was it, right? When in your business have you thought that was how it was going to be, and then it didn't happen that way? And how did you take that? Did you take that as a failure, or did you decide that it meant something else? It was okay. You can move on. You can make something else out of the situation, right? So another story, another way you can turn it into some sort of content in your business. Crystal says, oh, yeah, I know. Hey, Nikisha. So let me know what your thoughts are so far. Is the juice going with, oh my gosh, I could turn that into, I could turn that into, I could turn that into. I'm a little bit of a shoe hoard. I don't know if you know that. And there is a story behind why. Not just the whole upbringing of like, I just love shoes, but when I was very ill with Lyme disease and I had vertigo, I got rid of all my high-heeled and pretty shoes because I thought, I'm never going to be there again. I'm never going to do that. I'm never. And that was a lesson in never say never, because obviously I'm a lot better now. I travel to places that I never thought I'd be able to travel again to. I wear high heels on stage now, and I have gone and recollected a whole bunch of things. So when in your life have you said never again, and then had to turn around and switch that and redo something? You know, another story. And like I said, this is just like off the top of my head. I didn't script these. I have no list going on, just things that are coming to me. So I'm hoping that you get the idea that you can create content from everyday stories. It doesn't have to be the huge monumental why I do what I do and the whole journey through the whole thing and the darkest moments of my soul. It doesn't have to be like that. We can just purely talk about everyday life, and especially because at the beginning of this video, we were talking about how people relate better and want to know the actual person. If you look at a lot of videos these days, and I have some like professional video friends that are very close friends of mine, and they might cringe when I say this, but if you look at a lot of the videos these days, they have become very casual. Even this backdrop that I have, like, I mean, like, this is real. I say backdrop, but it is real. Is not necessarily necessary anymore. Of course, I want good lighting. I don't want junk in the background and stuff like that. But you see people just walking around in their neighborhood, walking through their house, walking through, you know, whatever. Now, here's the thing. I do not want to see any of you doing those videos in the car, because those drive me insane. Safety first, safety first. Quit paying attention to your phone and doing live video in the car. Now, if somebody else is doing a live video of you in the car, okay, fine. But do not do live video in the car, please. And what I've noticed as well is people are a little bit more engaged when there's movement in the back. And I even noticed that with myself when I was watching somebody the other day, and they had a window behind them and there were cars passing behind them. And it was actually a little more engaging because these cars were passing behind them and there's a little bit of movement. So anyways, my point is that people these days are not expecting those professionally made types of videos. As much as we love them and they look great on our website, and so there is definitely a place for them, a lot of times the casualness, the realness of your life is what people want to capture. I did a video the other day, and oh my gosh, I had my son in it, and like I could see the dirty clothes behind me. I did a different video and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't even believe that I didn't notice that the sink had a pile of dishes in it. But then you know what? That's real life and it doesn't matter. And guess what? I bet you guys have clothes on the floor sometimes, a mess in the background, and dirty dishes in the sink, right? And this is what people are after these days. I think so much we crave, because maybe it's like the social media thing and where you don't see people face to face so much anymore. We crave that connection that is real. So everyday content, or create your content from everyday stories. Just normal, everyday things that happen to you. And you will never, ever, ever, ever run out of things to say on social media, in your emails, or anything else. All right, so that wraps it all up. Let me know if you have any questions. If you're watching the replay later, let me know if you have any questions from that as well. I love, love, love being with you guys on Thursdays. If you have any ideas of what you want me to talk about, please go ahead and, shoot me an email, put a comment here, put a post in the group. I would love to know what I could do, what I could share with you that would serve you at the highest level. Because when I show up on Thursdays to do these are for you. Now, I always have to end though with, and if you do want to share those stories and your why story and get a little bit more into those nitty-gritty stories that you would put in your book and then write your entire book become bestseller, you've got to check out Easy Writer. And I'm gonna kind of let the cat out of the bag that next week there might be a little flash sale going on Easy Writer, so you want to keep a lookout for that. And I do those on occasion, and then people are kicking themselves when they didn't get in during the flash sale. So make sure you do that, okay? Next week. Shh. Actually, it's not a secret. Go ahead and tell everybody that the flash sale is happening next week, and you'll see those posts. If you're on my email list, you'll see them in the emails, and I will probably do some announcements as well. All right? Okie doke. So if there are no questions, then I'm going to hop off. I love spending time with you. Have a fantastic day, and we will talk to you later. Crystal says thank you. You're welcome. Bye, Nikisha. Bye, Crystal. And bye, everybody else. Talk to you later.